All right, we've got Shane Beamer, assistant head coach, in charge of tight ends and H-backs, and we will jump right into questioning. And we will begin with Ryan Aber of the Oklahoman and go to Garen Emig. Ryan?
Yeah, Shane, I was just curious about the some of the young players that you have in your group, especially Mikey Henderson, what you've seen from him and, how that development's going along.
Yeah, really, really excited about the group. Mikey's come in as a freshman. Obviously, he enrolled early. Didn't really get to see anything of him in spring practice. But so it's starting in preseason camp, not getting spring practice for him was like day one. But he's done a great job just trying to learn the offense. We ask a lot of those guys from a scheme standpoint with their knowledge. It's a challenge. They got to be tied in with what we're doing in the run game with Coach Beadenbow and the offensive line. They've got to know everything that we're doing in the passing game. So it's a fun position to coach. Really excited about the young guys, and Mikey's done a great job. He's got a unique skill set, for a guy that's his size to be able to run and have the athleticism that he has. I mean, he played some high school quarterback. He played some H-back. He did a little bit of everything in high school, and we're excited about his potential for sure.
Appreciate it, Shane.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I mistakenly said Garen's name. I meant to say Eric Bailey. You're next, Eric, and then we'll go to Joe Bettner.
Yeah, Mike, we look alike too, so I get it. Hey,
I wish.
Shane, Gabe Burkett has been perfect in his college career. In what ways have you seen him improve over the offseason, and what kind of mentality does it have to not think about the fact that he hasn't missed a kick?
Yeah, knock on wood, for sure. We need to make sure we keep that streak going. But he's a guy that we saw that gained a lot of confidence, as the season went on. He hit some big kicks for us as the season went on. And, he's like a lot of those typical kickers. You don't necessarily know what's going on in their minds, and I'm not sure you want to know half the time. He's a guy that's really progressed, and like a lot of our guys, worked hard over the summer and has worked hard in the preseason to continue to build on what he did last year. But, just watching him kick in practice today, I mean, he's just he's really doing a good job, and it's a luxury that we have from a confidence standpoint. And, hopefully it doesn't happen, but, at some point he may miss a kick. I know we're not planning on that, but, that's life of a kicker. You got to move on to the next one. And he's definitely got the right mindset to excel at that position, we think.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Joe Bettner, the Norman transcript, and then Jason Kersey.
Hey, Shane. Just curious, I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about this, but with Grant Calcaterra.
That happened to me on a lot of our Zoom meetings as well. The doorbell ring and the dog barking. So that's not the first time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's happened many times to me. I get it.
I just wanted to ask, I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about this, but Grant Calcaterra announcing he'll return to football. Curious if you've had any conversations with him and just what you make of his decision.
I can't really get into a whole lot of it. I mean, obviously that's more of a question for probably Coach Riley. Obviously we support Grant and every thing that he wants to do. I've kept in touch with him since he left here and reached out to him when that news came out, just to, offer my help and assistance and anything that I can do for him going forward, football related or non-football related, which I told him the same thing when he walked away from it last year. So don't know a whole lot about it that I can get into, but certainly we're 1,000% supportive of Grant and whatever direction he decides to go.
Okay, Jason Kersey of The Athletic, and then John Hoover.
Hey, Shane, how are you, man?
Good, Jason. How about you?
I'm good. Hey, so this is your third preseason at OU and third different starting quarterback. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, does the overall offense take a jump or get better quickly whenever that decision gets made?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we know that, like, at the quarterback position, whether my first year when it was when, Kyler was battling it out, and last year when Jalen came in and all that, you realize there's a quarterback competition going on, just like every position as well. But certainly when that announcement's made, we know as a team, but not to speak for Spencer, but I think from, probably from his standpoint, knowing that he's now the guy, maybe gives him a little bit, not that he needed any more confidence, but maybe gives him a little bit more confidence. I mean, he went out this morning and he had a phenomenal practice this morning, some of the throws that he made and just taking charge out there. So I would, like I said, not to speak for him, but I would imagine the quarterback position especially, but any position, when you know you're the starter and you're the guy, it maybe changes your mindset and how you attack the practice each day. And we've certainly seen that, and we're all supportive of him. But also, like Coach Riley said yesterday, I mean, we're really excited about that room. With Chandler Morris coming in as a freshman, with Tanner Mordecai and what he's done when he's been called up on, Tanner Schaefer, all those guys. It's a deep room that Coach is excited about, as are all of us.
Thanks, Shane.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's go to John Hoover with SI Sooners, and then Keegan Renault.
Hey, Shane. Last year was such a big year, such a breakout year for guys like Jeremiah Hall and Braden Willis. We've heard a lot about Braden Willis this preseason, the way he's maybe changed his body, more physical looking, more athletic looking, more explosive. Could you comment on your expectations for those guys this year, and their growth in the offense? And then kind of an X factor, maybe a wild card, Jackson Sumlin, an interesting walk-on for you guys, if by name only.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Really excited about our room. And you're right. I can remember my first year when I got here, it was Carson Meyer and Jeremiah Hall were the only two guys I had in my meeting room. And Carson played the majority of the snaps, and Jeremiah got in a little bit here and there. And then last year we had Jeremiah, Braden, and then Stogner came in there midway through the season. And now I've got Stogner, Jeremiah, Braden, Mikey, and Jackson, who you're talking about. For them, it's just taking another step. We lost a lot of firepower off last year's offense with CD being gone, with new quarterback, with Lee Morris being gone, Nick Baskell and Grant Calcaterra, a lot of guys that have made a lot of plays for us over the years. So at least in my room, with the way that I've approached it with my guys is, we need to go out there with the mindset that, we're the guys, that Coach Riley has a hard time taking us off the field. And since I've been here, we've increased our use of 2 tight end sets. And, selfishly, I wish we had all 4 of those guys out there at one time. But they've worked hard, and we challenged them, Coach Wiley, all of our coaches, when everything happened back in March, about attacking this time off, getting better as a football team, getting better as individuals, and that we would know when we came back kind of who did what they were supposed to, and unfortunately who didn't. And, Braden, Stogner, all those guys, I mean, they certainly, you're exactly right, they changed their bodies and got bigger, stronger, more explosive to be able to help us more in the running game and the passing game. And, I'm excited to see where the offense goes with those guys this year as well. And then Jackson as well, also obviously Coach Gundy had a connection with his dad and facilitated that process, and went back and watched his high school tape and made a lot of plays out there in high school and did a good job. And he's like a lot of our new freshmen, their heads are swimming right now and continuing to try and learn what to do and where to go. But, he's a smart guy. You can tell he's a coach's son and picking up things nicely and doing a good job for us, and happy to have him here.
Thanks, Shane.
You're welcome.
Okay, Keegan Renault with Sooners Wire, and then James Hale.
Yeah, Shane, just a lot of the high school coaches, whenever you talk from the DMV area up in the Northeast, bring your name up as well as Lincoln's. Just know you lived up there for a while, obviously, but just how much work have you put in, and how important has that area been for you in recruiting?
It has been, and hopefully will continue to be for us. Had a lot of connections. And when Coach Riley hired me, one of the things we talked about was just being able to, increase our footprint on the East Coast. And we're going into areas, that I had always recruited, whether it be Virginia, DC, like you said, Maryland, Georgia, those places. But certainly, spending time on the East Coast before I came here, had a lot of connections to those coaches in that area. And it's great football up there, is a reason that everybody recruits out of there. But we've really tried to attack that area. And I appreciate you saying that. I have some great coaches that I, have great relationships with up there. But being able to get, Joseph Wette 2 years ago to kind of start the process, which, led to Aaron Parks, which led to Anton Harrison, and, led to some others that we can't talk about right now on the call. But that'll continue to be a big area for us. And, we talk about it to those guys all the time. I mean, anytime I'm in Oklahoma City flying out of that Will Rogers Airport, I love taking a shot of just the arrivals and departures and being able to send it to players and coaches in DC to show all the direct flights, that come from that area each day, and that it's an easy place to get to, and got a great product to sell. And that's an area that we'll continue to attack even more so going forward.
Thanks, Shane.
You're welcome.
Okay, James Hale with KREF, and then Kerry Murdoch.
Shane, thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
Jalen Conyers is another guy that's a freshman that's at your group. I would guess that with all your creativity, you can use Obi Obilo, who's a big receiver that's transferred in from Marshall there as well. The versatility of your groups, the H-backs and the tight ends, and also at 262, I would guess that Stogner can be a pretty good inline tight end for you now if you want him to be. And how much on special teams will they play for you? Because they look like versatile guys.
Quite a bit. You're asking for us to give you all the secrets on where everybody's lining up, huh, James?
Trying to, man. We don't get to talk to you much.
I hear you, man. No, Jalen's another one. Obi. I mean, those guys we're happy to have, and Coach Riley is going to get the best players on the field and put them in the best place that they have, to be successful. And in this offense, we've got a lot of variations when it comes to formations and where we can put guys, and those guys for sure. Jalen's come in and he looks the part and is a great athlete and is continuing to work hard. Obi's a guy that you're right. I mean, he's just the maturity and the physicality and the toughness that he brings to the offense is something that we definitely needed, and really excited about his potential. And then we're trying, that's a good thing. We've got a lot of depth from a special teams standpoint, and all those guys are going to have to help us. Obi's a guy, when he came out here, I've got a couple good friends that are on the Marshall staff, and they reached out to me to say, man, this guy was a beast for us on special teams, and what a great young man. And that's what we've seen. So all those guys will figure in. Braden Willis has blocked a couple punts the last couple of years. Stog was on 2 of our special teams last year. All those guys have to bring value there, and they do. And we've talked about it with all the depth at all the positions on offense and defense. When we traveled to Iowa State for that first away game, we only take 70 guys, and we're constantly giving those guys examples of, if you're close to the position with another guy, the guy that's a better special teams player is the guy that's going to be going on that plane to Iowa. And then Stog as well, from an inline point of view, for sure. He worked hard at that, very hard. I worked really hard at that last year, got better at that because that was new for him when he came into my room, and did a good job of it when he was put in those positions last year, and has continued to attack that role also.
Thanks, Shane.
You bet.
Okay, Kerry Murdoch with Sooner Scoop and the Sports Animal, and then Joey Helmer.
Hey, Shane, I'm curious, at your position, you ask those guys to do a lot to help you in the run game, but Lincoln really has become known for, producing explosive plays with H-backs and tight ends, I guess, they've done that throughout history. How much does it make it easier coaching that position when, they know that they could be involved in a big touchdown play, and that you're not just asking them to kind of be bruisers out there all the time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anybody wants the ball, and as much as, we preach physicality and toughness and then run blocking, at the end of the day, anybody on our offense that has a chance to touch the ball, they want the ball in their hands. But the thing that we've sold our guys, or my guys, on in my room, is that we've got to be dominant and physical in the run game, and that opens up everything in the passing game from a play action standpoint, from a downfield shot standpoint. And that's been a big point of emphasis with the guys in my room, is that we've got to be better after the catch this year. We made some great touchdown catches. Braden, home game, I think it's TCU, maybe he caught that corner out over in the end zone. Stog with some of the plays he made against Baylor in the end zone. Braden, those guys. But we've got to be better after the catch in the open field. Jeremiah made a great 4th down conversion against Texas Tech last year over there on their sideline, where he broke a lot of tackles and made some plays. But beyond that, we were lacking on the what we did once we caught the ball in the open field. So certainly we want those opportunities. We've really worked hard in that group to be better after the catch. But again, it all starts in the run game, and the better we are in the run game, the more that opens up things in our passing game as well, for not just the tight ends and H-backs, but everybody on the offense being able to throw the ball downfield.
Appreciate that, Shane.
You bet.
Okay, our last question will be from Joey Helmer with OU Insider.
How are you doing, Shane?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing all right. Austin Stogner, you talked about his play and special teams and everything, but at Baylor last year, he had a couple of touchdowns and obviously on a big stage. How much growth have you seen in his game so far in the last few months?
Tons. He started out the season with me started out the season with Coach Gundy last year, and then as the year went on, he transitioned to where he was with me and more of a tight end H-back all the time, and it was new for him. I mean, he blocked in in high school. I mean, I can remember going down there and watching him practice and seeing him getting a 3-point stance. And he was certainly, had experience doing that and brought some physicality to the position. But at his size, I mean, he is so big. Just from a technique standpoint, he worked hard to really clean that up, spent a lot of time extra in the weight room with Brian Kagan's one of our assistant strength coaches, just on footwork and it sounds crazy, but he is so long, being able to keep that condensed and be able to play in space and in a tight box as well, in the passing game and the run game. But he's really worked hard at it, and you can see when he came back from the time off this spring and summer, you can see how hard he worked, one, to get faster and stronger, but just the athleticism, the run blocking, and especially the route running. I mean, I'm excited about the steps that he's taken since last year, and really looking forward to watching him play this fall.